Y'all already know what's up, baby. It's your boy, Brother Nature. We out here at the top of the mountain. I got my boy Bruno with me. Bruno, you ready to fly away, Bruno? Let's get it.
Birds! We all love birds, right? I know I do, and I'm sure all of you at one point saw a picture of a cute bird and thought to yourself, hey, that's a cute bird. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Amino. In case you haven't heard of it already, Amino is this amazing network of all sorts of different communities about whatever topic you can imagine, and I mean anything. Whether it's a TV show you really like, a comic book series, a language you're learning, there's even an Amino about birds. On the app you can create different polls, post your own theories, have discussions with other users, or just look at the great fan art others posted, which, truth be told, is what I use it most for. It's a really creative and interactive service that is by far one of the most diverse and friendly forums I've ever been on. And guess what? In collaboration with the app, you can now see a collection of some of her favorite communities right on the explore page, which includes the cartoon Amino, which just so happens to be one of the most active. I went ahead and opened up a little poll of my own on what your favorite animated movie from last year was. So if you want to participate in that, just click the link in the description and look me up in the cartoon Amino. I'd love to see you there. So once again, just click the first link in the description or my pinned comment and it'll take you right to the free Amino app. Now where was I? Oh yeah, Blue Sky. Even saying that name alone somehow rekindles old precious memories of booting up my bootlegged Ice Age 2-in-1 Collector's Edition DVD from some weekend market in Thailand, waiting a couple of minutes for that creepy whirring sound emanating from the TV to stop, and if I was lucky, getting greeted by that sweet lacquer sound from the Blue Sky logo. And if you know the studio from anything, it probably still is the Ice Age franchise, seeing as how it is now on its 5th installment, with the 6th one most likely already on its way, and among the top 3 highest grossing animated franchises of all time, and that's not even including the merchandise. The terrifying merchandise. But that's not to say this is the only thing Blue Sky should be known for. No, I love Ice Age Colossal Derby and Downward Spiral as much as the next guy, but let's not forget they were also responsible for actually decent films like Robots. Now what about the new Peanuts movie? Heck, even the Horton Hears a Who adaptation holds up surprisingly well. And for as solid a mainstay Ice Age may be, at some point Mr. Blue Sky was like, guys, this can't go on for much longer. We need something that'll hold the kids' attention even when it isn't winter. Something for the summer season. Something about birds and carnivals starring Jesse Eisenberg and will.i.am, but not Fergie, just anything but Fergie. So in 2011, Blue Sky Studios took us all on a trip to Rio. A Blue Sky story about a blue Spix macaw named Blue living in a blue world, and all he sees is just blue until he gets introduced to this female macaw named Jewel, voiced by Anne Hathaway, whom Blue is forced to repopulate their entire species with thanks to this dude, who in return has a dot for this chick, although she thinks he's a literal chick, and alongside all these chicks and other birds, they travel from the hometown of Minnesota to the capital of Brazil. It's not actually the capital, I know it's a joke, calm down. Interestingly, even though the story seems so fitting for the setting of the most tropical and party-hardy city you can think of, the story at first was not even supposed to take place here. Hell, it wasn't even about macaws but penguins, but as both Surf's Up and Happy Feet were already in development by then, they decided to completely rewrite the whole script. And they were right. No other penguin-related franchise would ever rise to the same level of popularity of those two, so yeah, good call guys. Jokes aside, I'm really glad the story is set where it is. All these landscape shots of Rio and all the birds' designs, even at the start of the film, are nothing to scoff at. It was quite impressive to me at a young age, and makes for a great introduction, alongside these countless great tracks of the film's soundtrack that would get blasted into oblivion at my school when it came out. The opening shots of this film are just straight up beautiful, and immediately give you an idea of Blue's insecurities and fear of the outside world. Pretty much a perfect fit for Jesse Eisenberg, their second choice when Neil Patrick Harris wasn't available. So Blue and Jewel's relationship isn't off to the best start, as somehow she isn't quite comfortable with the idea of being forced onto some blue goblin she has never met just for the sake of their species. But soon they face the more important issue of being kidnapped by... Oh my god, is that... Jermaine! Yes folks, this was indeed the first animated movie to feature a song by Flight of the Conchord's Jermaine Clement way before Moana was even in development, and oh my god, does he improve this movie tenfold. No joke, I think you could have him sing the Declaration of Independence on my shopping list from last week and he'd find a way to make it funny.
Say thank you on behalf of Jermaine and myself for coming up.
Not really.
Oh, well, just on behalf of myself, thank you for coming along tonight.
So his character wants to get rid of every other tit that comes his way and uses his monkey henchman, another highlight of this film I might add, to force our two lovebirds out of the city into the jungle. Here they meet George Lopez Bird, who finally teaches Blue to fly by pushing him off a cliff, while their owners Tulio and Linda are off searching for the two alongside some random Brazilian kid they are holding hostage. This is where we get another original song, this time featuring will.i.am and Jamie Foxx, and unfortunately I like this one. The songs in Blue Sky movies are usually very hit or miss, but especially with the animation animation on sequences like this one, you get the feeling that they weren't just added in hindsight to appease some demographic or current music trend like some of the other films would tend to do. There's some other actual highlights, like the main theme Telling the World by Taio Cruz. They got this whole Brazilian orchestra to help out with the soundtrack, and it really gets you into the groove of summer at the beach while dancing samba, except instead you're at home watching Rio while eating leftover ice cream straight out the box, pondering your existence. It's not one I'd blast through my AirPods every day, but for how corny the lyrics are, it's nice to come back to every so often. I'll put a link in the top right corner if you want to check it out. Before their owners can catch up with Blue and Sky, the evil cockatoo Nigel snacks her away, and it's up to Blue to save her for about 4 minutes until he gets captured too. This is like complete incompetence the movie at times. From the villains to the good guys, from henchmen to security guards, no one really gets anything done here. I don't know if that's just what it's like in Rio, but if so, I think I would feel right at home there. Give me those gold spandex, I'll twist across that dusty land. But for as slow as the first half felt at times, the second one now decides it wants to end as quickly as Taio Cruz's career, and shows Blue flying, Nigel defeated, Linda and Tulio happily together, and the next generation for the eventual sequel, because of course there would be one. It was the most successful film that wasn't Ice Age at the time, and for good reason. I think Rio remains a harmlessly entertaining and fun family film that doesn't take too many chances in its storytelling, but makes up for it with more than enough diverse characters that for the most part don't just rely on their all-star cast and actually feel relatable. Well, for kids at least. I'm starting to see more flaws with it now that I'm a bit older, and will admit that there was some pretty cheesy shit in here. Like, it definitely wasn't comedic genius, and I could have done without characters like that dog. Only had like 5 lines in the film, half of which were whining, but compare that to friggin' Sid dancing the dinosaur and I'd say we could have it worse, boys. And that's not even mentioning the fantastically rich and colorful animation and background art that really makes it feel like you're actually there, experiencing the Rio Carnival for yourself. I mean, it's basically ripe for a video game a la Pilot Wings, where you could cruise around the neighborhoods, perform stunts, and meet up with the other birds while grooving along to the film's 6th soundtrack, or Angry Birds. Sure, that works too. I mean, there was barely any mobile game out at the time that even came close to Angry Birds' level of popularity. Clash of Clans and Simpsons Farm-A-Rama weren't out yet, so all you had were either Doodle Jump, Fruit Ninja, Cut the Rope, or Plants vs. Zombies. My phone wasn't even able to properly play Minecraft, which was devastating in trying to be the cool kid in class back then. So it was either Angry Birds or Eden. Listen, I know I said before I love birds as much as the next guy, but being able to build slopes so no one else was able to, or a freaking house out of water, lady, I'm taken. But as all good things come to an end, so did my love for Rio. I moved on to better films and really didn't care for any Blue Sky films after this one. In fact, I still have yet to watch Epic, so watching Rio 2 after all this time was really just boring. I wouldn't say it was an entirely awful film, no, but it was good. I mean, it's a pretty film, I will give them that, but also one that clearly just lacks any direction. When you got one real villain in the first film, we now have this guy again, and she's a villain, and he's a villain, and he's a villain, and he's a villain probably, and he's a villain, and you're a villain, and everyone's a villain now, especially the one in all of us, cause guess what? It's an environmental PSA now. Yeah. It's not to say that I don't agree with the message about saving our forests and that humans really are the villains and all this, but like, was this really the franchise to infuse this message with? This franchise?
One more, come on. One more time!
It also fell into the trap so many animated sequels like to fall into, where it's either just more of the same or tries to introduce so many new characters to give it any sense of identity that it becomes way too crowded and hard to even keep track of. Pretty much everything you would expect from a sequel like this gets used in some form or the other. It turns out their species wasn't actually extinct, which forces Blue to make peace with Doodle's dad, the birds have to save their owners this time around, there are even more corny dance sequences. Not even the songs were original this time, well, except for maybe Bruno Mars's, who's also in this film now. As is Kristen Chenoweth as one of the new evil foils, who's basically just Harley Quinn as a frog, with Nigel being the Joker, obviously. They ripped him off so hard that I almost forgot the plot of this film is basically Avatar. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but in this case, and in this case only, Avatar is actually the better film starring blue beings you could be watching. The question remains though, will we ever get more than the still pretty solid Rio 1 and its below average sequel? I took a trip to both the official YouTube channel, which only has one video of the many I remember watching on its still public, while the Instagram page was last updated with anything officially Rio related in November 2016, not counting some royal baby meme they randomly posted 2 years later. Probably when whoever intern was working on it finally found the password again. These days it's only used to promote Blue Sky's upcoming project Spies in Disguise starring professional meme lord Will Smith, so I'd say it's unlikely, but it wouldn't surprise me if by the time this video comes out the next 5 Ice Age and 3 Rio movies have already been announced. My name is Cosmodore, and all Rios were a mistake.